Welcome to the Soundslides tutorial. Soundslides is a simple and effective way to put together an audio slideshow. Before you get started, you're going to need two things. One is a folder of all the images you want to include in your audio slideshow. And the second is an MP3 file. Now, we have a tutorial online about Audacity. To get an MP3 file from there, you're going to need to go to File, Export, and then make sure you export as an MP3. Now once you do have both those things, you can go ahead and open the program, click on this New button to create a new project, and call it whatever you want. I'll call this Demonstration. Click Save. When I do, my screen changes and I have these two options. Now, the first, I'm going to click this JPG button. That's going to let me upload all my images. So I'm going to click on my image folder and click Open, and you'll see it uploading those images. And I'm going to do the same thing for the SND button, which stands for sound. Okay. One important thing to mention, just for saving and for turning in your work, is that Soundslides is going to create this folder on your desktop. Remember, I called mine Demonstration. And it's going to have all these subfolders inside. When you turn in your project, you're going to need to turn in this entire folder. So the entire folder called Demonstration. So here's your Soundslides work screen. What you have are your images over here, and you can move them around on the timeline, and we'll talk about the timeline in a second. If you wanted to add an image, you can click on that and pick another image. If you want to get rid of an image, you can just drag that to the bin. And so this area is where you're going to work with your pictures. Now you also see your pictures down here. That's that timeline I was talking about. And the power of Soundslides is that you can match your audio track to your pictures very easily. Now I'm going to play the audio track by just clicking this play button. Here are pictures I took of flamingos, dogs, and a chimpanzee at the zoo. Okay, I can move the playhead around to hear different parts of audio as I might want to do. But I can also very easily move the images along the timeline. So if I'm moving it this way, the flamingo picture is going to last longer in my audio slideshow, and the dog's picture is going to be much shorter. In this case, it would make the most sense that when I say dogs, chimpanzee at the zoo, that picture appears. And so let's try to do that. Here are pictures I took of flamingos, dogs. Okay. Look to me that right about there is where I say dogs. So I'm going to move the division to that spot, and I'm going to play it back to see if that looks right. Flamingos, dogs, and a chimpanzee at the zoo. Okay, looks pretty good to me. So let me show you some of the other options you have with your audio slideshow. This first tab, Slide Info, is going to let you write captions for the picture that the playhead is above. So I could say, here are two dogs in Northampton, and I've got a caption. Now this template menu item gives you a lot more options. You see you can show a header, which is a headline. You can show a footer, which has captions and credits, and you can show volume, things like that. That's up to you. You can choose what you want to do for your audio slideshow, but know that all these options are here. One other thing you can do is if you want to change the color, so if you don't like this gray for some reason, you can just click on it once and then click on the color you do like, and that's true for the background too. The headline area, you can make your own color if you want to do that. And so all of that can be done here in the template menu. You have some other choices here, fonts. Transition is one you might use. So if you don't want it to take a full second for your one image to crossfade into the other, you see you have a few other options too. You can just change that, so maybe 0.8 seconds instead. project info is where you can enter that headline. So I can call this animals I've photographed. And credits, you can give yourself credit. Now, the final tab here is audio. Now, I would suggest just doing all your audio editing first, getting it out of the way, because when you re-import audio, as you can see, if you change the duration of that audio, if you make it longer or shorter, everything else will get out of whack, and so you don't want to do that. So those are the simple things that you can do in Soundslides, but the end result can look very sophisticated and professional. Once you've finished editing your Soundslides, always go ahead and save. You can test it if you want, and that'll show it to you with the colors and your headlines and so forth. Now, to post a Soundslides online, you're going to need to watch the FTP tutorials on how to put your content onto a server. Just so you know, to get started with that, you're going to click this export button here, and it will create the folder that you need in your project folder.